We're talking about putting fractions in simplest form and getting equal fractions by multiplying the top number and the bottom number by the same number, or dividing the top and bottom number by the same number. Okay? And you get what's called a proportion when you find an equal fraction. A proportion is equal amounts put in different numbers or different terms. So, for lowest terms, or also called simplest form, you know you have it in simplest form if the two numbers have no common factors. Okay? There are no other numbers that both numbers go into. Okay? And the top number then is not a factor of the bottom number. Because otherwise, the top number would go into itself, and it would go into the bottom number. Means it would divide evenly into that number. Let's look at some examples today. Number 1. You're starting with 3/5, and you're converting it to a different denominator. What denominator, class? 20. Now, to get this, what you need to ask yourself is, how would you get from 5 to 20? Times 4. Right. Times 4. The rule is, when you multiply the bottom number times 4, you have to multiply the top number times 4. Okay? So, the equivalent fraction is 12/20ths. Okay? Number 2. Yeah, 12/20ths is not simplest form, is it? What would the simplest form be of 12/20ths?
Oh!
Here. 3/5. Yeah.
Oh.
Right. 3/5. So if you're starting with 12/20ths, you'd have to divide both by 4. You undo the multiplication by using division. All right? Number 2. That one you're starting with 12/21ths. And we're finding an equivalent fraction in terms of sevenths. So we're converting the 21 to sevenths. How would we do that, Max?
We divide by 3.
Divide by 3. Divide the top and the bottom number by 3. So the equivalent fraction is 4/7. Right? Let's skip to the bottom. We'll come back to the others. But let's say that we're starting with a number like 20/80ths, and we need to put it into simplest form. What would we do to start with? Just start dividing the number by, just start by dividing these numbers by any common factor. What's a common factor? Well, they both end in 0, so we can divide them both by 10. Let's start by doing that. What is that? Class? 2/8. Now we can divide them both by 2 and get 1/4. So what I'm trying to show you is that you don't have to find the greatest common factor right away. Sometimes it's hard to see that. But just start by dividing it by any common factor. And then that will make the number smaller so that you can recognize any other common factors. Okay? That's the process in putting it in lowest terms or simplest form. Let's do one more. There's one on the back side I want to do with you. 75/55ths. putting that in simplest form.
Wait, where's?
Number
16.
16. Yep. Asa.
75 divided by 5 and 55 divided by 5.
Right. Just simply start by dividing them by 5. Okay? 55 divided by 5 is 11. 75 divided by 5 is 15. Is this simplest form?
Yes. You can make it up to his.
What's our definition? Are there any common factors? No.
One.
How do you know? Look at this number. What is this number? That's a prime number, right? So if 11 is a prime number, then there's going to be only two factors, 1 and 11, and 11 doesn't go into 15, so we know that that's simplest form. Okay? That's lowest terms.